Hi there, Chaska. My name is Marshall Grange, the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Chaska here. And today I am with Bob Roepke as part of our Chaska Cares initiative. Many of you may know Bob as he was the past mayor for the City of Chaska and is still quite involved with many organizations around town. And one of those organizations is the Community Foundation for Carver County, where he serves as the chair of that board. So I'd like to say hi to Bob. Welcome and thanks for joining me on Zoom today.
Well, Marshall, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the foundation and chat with you about it. So I appreciate that, the opportunity very much. How are you doing? How are you surviving all this?
Man, it's definitely been an exercise of how adaptable you are and how flexible you can be. But overall, I'm just very proud of the Parks and Recreation Department team that I'm serving on, and the city as a whole for how we've been able to respond to this and keep the employees safe and keep our services functioning throughout the city.
Yeah, you have a department there that I think from a community building standpoint, I mean, it's just such a part of your mission and your purpose in terms of building community, all the programs and services you provide. And a lot of that is based on bringing people together. And it's got to be a cultural shock, to your whole department system to, be isolated the way everybody is right now, and then not to know when you can come back together and bring people back together, which is such a big part of your guys' mission. I've always had a lot of respect for the work your department does. So.
Yeah, and I guess, thank goodness for the Zoom technology where we can at least see each other and stay connected, that way with staff and, still continue to have conversations. And, we've done our best to try to continue to connect with people out in the community. And
right.
You may have seen a recent article in the Herald where our fitness instructors are actually teaching classes through this Zoom technology out of their homes. So
right. Well, this is the opportunity to be creative and innovative about how do you deliver, the different programs and services you provide. I mean, it's like with the education teachers and what they're doing in terms of the distance learning. And, some of this will probably transition over to the new normal, whatever that's going to be. But, maybe we should become investors in Zoom. I would think that's going to skyrocket. Probably has started already. So, yeah, it's interesting to watch and see. And it takes a lot of creative thinking and execution, but I have a lot of respect for the educators and all of the organizations that are thinking in a new way and providing their services in a innovative, creative way. So, well done.
Thank you. Well, let's jump in and talk a little bit more about the Community Foundation for Carver County, and maybe you could just get started by telling us how that got started and the types of things it has helped with.
Well, appreciate that. The Community Foundation for Carver County was founded or initiated back in 2004. It got its origins out of public health in the county, in Carver County. And a board was formed. And the whole thinking back there, it was driven from the fact that a lot, and I think we're talking millions of dollars of Carver County dollars were going into larger foundations, the Minneapolis Foundation, St. Paul, Minnesota foundations, and going down there. And the question was asked, why don't we have a local foundation here out in Carver County, that the dollars that are coming out of Carver County could maybe go into a local community foundation. And then the theory is that it can better serve the needs and issues and, in Carver County, because it'll be made up of people that are from across Carver County and more in touch with what are those needs and what are those issues that exist across Carver County and the communities of Carver County. So that was the theory. And so emulate the Minneapolis Foundation, build that over time, and provide that opportunity for philanthropic people that say, how can I help my community? I'd like to give back. I don't know how to do that, but I've got some resources and I'd like to help my community be a better place. Now, some of those people might have an area of interest that they want to help. They want to do something about the issue of homelessness because maybe they've been touched, on that in a different way. Maybe they want to help in terms of medical services of some type, housing of some type that, they might have an issue that's close to them. Or maybe they say, well, I'd like to give back, but I don't know to what. Well, here's the foundation, the Community Foundation for Carver County, has an understanding of what are the needs or issues, works closely with nonprofit organizations, and does have an understanding of that. So if somebody says, I want to give back, and how can I do this? We can work with them and we could set up a fund with them, and then every year work towards, what do we want to do with, some donation this year? And we work together in terms of, we can say, here are the needs that we're seeing out there, the different nonprofit work, the different initiatives that are going on that could benefit from some additional funding. And we work together to make decisions about where to put those dollars. That's just an example. So it provides an opportunity to give back to people in and across any of the communities of Carver County, any place in Carver County, and help make a difference and create a stronger, healthier county, a stronger, healthier set of 11 or 12 communities that make up Carver County. And so that provides that opportunity. We've got about $1.5 million of assets and building, and we recently joined, come under the community giving umbrella. That's used to be the Central Community Foundation, located out of St. Cloud. Today, it's an umbrella organization that Brainerd's Community Foundation comes under, Wilmer, Alexandria, a number of other community foundations just like ours, and we've joined forces there. They manage about $150 million of assets. They've got a lot of experience and they've got the basic infrastructure in place. We retain our independence as the local community foundation here. We can leverage their resources and their experience, and allows us to be out there working to build the community awareness and understanding, and invite people to invest in our community foundation and working with them to get that done. So that's kind of a snapshot of what we're about and where we're at today. We've got a 11 person board of directors, people made up from across Carver County, the communities of the county. We meet every month, and so it's a very responsible group. And we are looking, our near-term goal is to hire an executive director that we'd like to do sooner than later. We're working on raising some dollars to be able to do that and put that person in place. And we're excited about getting that opportunity done. So that's it for probably a quick summary of what we're doing and what we're about right now. So.
Well, that's great. Thanks for sharing all that background. I think there's a lot of people out there that may not be aware of that foundation. So
yeah, I think that's, it takes a while, and the bigger foundations, they've been at it for a long time, many years. And, you build up dollars and, over time. And what we're trying to do is demonstrate what we've been able to do. We've given back to like the New Beginnings program. We granted dollars to them over the years. That's single moms furthering their education. They're trying to finish their, in case their high school education, and then maybe go off to college or get some level of advanced degree, and help them meet some of the needs and gaps in funding that they have. We worked with the River Valley Nursing Association to set up a clinic 1 day a week for those that don't have the resources and the healthcare coverage to go out and they can have that, medical service, that clinic service available to them, and just making a difference. So we work with nonprofits. We understand, I think, the nonprofit world, and have developed some really close relationships with them. So it's making a difference in people's lives. So that's what we try to do. Our mission is to engage people, connect resources, and build community. And, it's, I think if people just think of that, engaging people, connecting resources, or people say, I want to make a difference, I've got some resources, how can I make it work? How can I build a healthier community? And that's what we're about, connecting those resources and building a healthier community as a result. So that is, that's the mission of the foundation. And, we're building stories with that, and some incredible stories to tell. And, with this pandemic, with COVID-19, that what's going on, I know you're capturing stories, Marshall, with Chaska Cares, and trying to share those stories. And we're trying to build those stories and make a difference, so you can share more stories. So
absolutely, and I, that's a good lead in, to, another reason why we're here talking with you today is, it's my understanding that the foundation has set up is it a response fund? Is that how you're calling that?
Right.
A response fund to the current situation we're in. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and, what the donations are going towards for the specific response fund.
Sure. We recently received a grant from, again, one of the larger foundations, and then sent out some individual invitations to support the fund, tried to go out and make people aware, and individuals aware, and organizations aware of the existence of that community response fund during such a critical time, such a this pandemic, with people hard to relate to what's going on. It's pretty surreal. And we raised some dollars. We raised dollars in the fund, and then we went out and invited people in this nonprofit world that are making a difference in people's lives, that are giving hope to people that don't have much hope from day to day, or that provide services to those that have different challenges and different levels of need, and they're making a difference, and they're being impacted from this pandemic. They have service gaps. They've experienced cutbacks. They just can't provide the same level of service they've been able to do. They've backed off times and their availability. It's just impacted them in so many different ways. So we, got the message out to many of them that we have generated some dollars, and we have dollars available, and we received a number of grant requests from those nonprofits, and we funded a half dozen of those, and granted over $22,000 of grants, of dollars, that they can continue to provide programming and services to those they serve, and help meet some needs, and close some gaps that they've had, or at least help close some gaps. And we continue to invite the community's support of that. A one-time effort to help make a difference and grant some dollars out there is the need for those dollars will continue. It's a continuing challenge. I mean, we're staying at home and sheltering in place, now through May 13th, and that's an extended time, and who knows even after that. So the impacts of this are going to be fairly long term. So I would invite the community, individuals, businesses, service organizations, whoever it might be, to think about or consider contributing to this community response fund, because it is making a difference, and for those in real need. And that's what communities do. I think they respond. We're a community together. I mean, you hear that so often, that together, that's how we need to meet this. We need to meet this head on, all of us working together and supporting each other and caring about each other. And I think that's the basis of the community foundation. And I know that's what the city supports. So if anybody's out there and interested in understanding more about this, or contributing to this fund so that we can continue to help people that are in need, help nonprofits that are in need, and make a difference for individuals, you could go to communitygiving.org/donate, communitygiving.org/donate, and you can give you the fairly straightforward way to contribute, and whether that's whatever, a small amount or a larger amount. And we welcome any contribution, because it doesn't make a difference. It just demonstrates the fact that we care. Chaska cares, and it cares by giving whatever amount is possible and doable. So whether it's an individual, a business, a service organization, we all, I think, share that vision to be a community supporting and caring about each other. And that's part of our mission with the Community Foundation for Carver County, to build community and demonstrate the actions that support that. So,
well, that's great. This is definitely a time where there's a lot of people in need, and so many great nonprofit organizations doing good stuff right here locally. Right. And so for this fund to be able to give them those resources to keep doing more good is really inspiring. And I know you mentioned the website where people can go. Just want to let people know we're going to have that information at the end of this presentation as well. And then we'll also look to be putting a link on our Chaska Cares section of the website too, so people can access that in an easy way. And like you said, donate what you can to help out.
Yeah, I think and anyone can make a difference. I mean, it provides the opportunity. I mean, whether it's $10 or $100 or $1,000 or whatever it might be. I mean, together we can make a difference and build community, build a healthier community, given the challenges we're facing today, and the stressors that where people don't have much hope, or they've lost hope. It's an opportunity to show that we do care, and we can address some of that fear that exists, and say you're not alone. And I think that's really important at this time.
Yeah. So Bob, go ahead.
I think one of the other things too, Marshall, as long as we're talking, is that one of the things that we had planned to do before this all struck is to look at the creation of a Chaska Community Fund. Today, there across all of the communities of Carver County, there's a Hamburg Community Fund, a Norwood Young America Community Fund, a Cologne Community Fund, and I think you get to the point of why not Chaska? I mean, we believe in community. That's what we've been talking about. You talk about Chaska Cares and capturing the stories and sharing the stories and promoting that thinking and the actions that support that. Why not a Chaska Community Fund? So I think that what we want to do is get that off the ground and build some.
I think that would be a great idea, Bob.
Yeah.
Just because I think people, it just resonates more with people that, you know, their donation is coming right back into the community that they live in, and sort of
Right,
that sense of, you know, helping out your next door neighbor,
right.
versus potentially that donation, you know, even though it's needed sometimes further out. I think people are just more apt to donate these days when they know it's making a difference right near them.
Yeah, right at home, right at home. Yeah, and it's encouraging to know that the city um, has a positive outlook about this. Is has some energy to support the creation of a Chaska Community Fund, and I think that's really a cornerstone to making that all work. So I think what we need to do, and part of the plan is, well, we got to communicate. We got to build the community awareness and understanding, and get that message out. And I know you have mechanisms and different ways to be able to do that from a city perspective, and we need to link up with that and get that put in place. I think there's organizations that would look at this and positively and be willing to invest in this, because I think that's what it is. It's an investment in our community and the future of our community, and I think that's a good way to look at this. So we getting that message out, and what we do need to do as we create that Chaska Community Fund is to create an advisory group with that. I would guess somebody from the city, somebody from the foundation, and then broad membership from across the community that sit on an advisory board. And as dollars come in, as we build the fund, that advisory board would be the deciders in terms of how to use those dollars and how to address the needs that exist across the city of Chaska, our community, and then allocate dollars from that that aligns to the mission that we want to connect resources and needs and build community. So exciting. I think it's really an exciting opportunity. One of the, you'd like to think that coming out of such a challenging time, you can be stronger. And how do we learn, and what will that new normal be? I think the new normal can be something that where community and our sense of togetherness is even stronger. And we always thought we have a strong sense of community, but a Chaska Community Fund would really be a testimonial to that. And I think the stories that we generate out of that, Marshall, would be pretty inspiring.
Absolutely, you know, and I think, you know, just ensuring that there's always resources into the future, because, you know, there's going to be the next big challenge we're going to have to face, and
right,
you know, it always takes resources. And so I think, you know, for community members to come together and help build that fund is a critical component to, I guess, maybe some level of sustainability going forward.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point, Marshall. It's I don't think we've seen the last of this kind of experience, and I can relate to some of the flooding. When you grow up in the community, we experienced the big floods of 1952 and 65 and 68, and you saw the community respond to people in need, people that their houses were flooded and just damaged tremendously, and people rallying to save the courthouse, people rallying to help people move out of their homes and get out of harm's way, and taking care of them with food and shelter, and doing everything they can to rally as a community. And I think what this provides, the Chaska Community Fund, just as you said, Marshall, it provides an opportunity to, when there's no natural disaster occurring or health challenge like this occurring, we still are operating as a community that's rallying together to make a difference. And we can build this fund, and we can be prepared, because when times are good, there's still need. And the challenge is, it's just not a matter of responding when we're going through a tremendous health challenge or natural disaster, but make it a way of life, the way of operating every day, 365 days a year. And hopefully this is a tool or an opportunity to be able to do that. We've got the experience with community giving standing behind us, and all that knowledge and experience, and to help support in terms of providing infrastructure. Our job is to get out and communicate and help people understand and connect the dots, connect the resources with the need, and work together like we're talking about, working with the city and to helping to make this happen. So exciting.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Bob, it's usually during these difficult times when the community comes together and steps up and helps each other out. And, that's one thing through Chaska Cares that we're trying to showcase, because I think that it helps build some community spirit and kind of motivates people to help out any way they can. But maybe we'll finish by you maybe mentioning some of the things you've seen so far out of the Chaska community over the last month during this pandemic that has made you feel proud as a resident of Chaska.
Well, I think when you look at the different elements of the community, I think when you see our education system and how adaptable they've become to meeting the needs of their students, and how prepared they have to be, the teachers, and the work they've had to put in to prepare learning experiences that continue to make a difference for their students, and the care that goes into them. I mean, it's a significant, it's so new in so many ways in terms of learning how to do that and be effective in doing that. But the willingness to adapt, the whole adaptability, and talked about earlier, the flexibility, I think that's just so impressive. I mean, a quality education system is one of the cornerstones of any community. And, it does make you proud when, that's your educators, those are your teachers, those are your administrators that are out there and doing that and demonstrating their care. They care so much. What they've done out at Clover Ridge, I mean, in terms of food and collecting food and getting it out to those in need, is just really special. I think that, we were talking earlier how you did the city did, you don't have the American Legion Auxiliary. And you partnered with them. The Easter egg hunt had to be canceled this year, so you said, how can we put on a parade? And you went out through the neighborhoods with fire trucks and police cars and the big Easter bunny, and off you went and through the neighborhoods and trying to bring some smiles to people's faces. And I think those are the actions of community. I think the partnership with Southwest Transit and Bountiful Basket in terms of making a difference in terms of food, for if you've lost your job or you've been cut back and you don't know where your dollars are going to come from and where's the food going to come from, how they've extended themselves to make a difference in transporting, the food to people's homes and getting it to them. I mean, those are all partnering kinds of opportunities. I have a connection with Launch Ministries and for the homeless and the counseling and that goes on and now has been cut back, and how much they care about those individuals. It's a lot of it is about stories where you're reaching out to the needy, often those people that live in the shadows of life that you don't see. And maybe it's unfortunately that, it gets brought to more light when you go through these kind of experiences. And the good things that are done to help those people. And so I think that, it's a long list, and, neighborhoods are doing things. I mean, you hear about the kids writing the messages on the sidewalk or on the streets, and, it can be different ways. I'm sure, we've got a coffee group that we meet. We don't go down to the coffee shop down to Dunn Brothers and every day like we've done in the past, but we get together like this, Marshall, like on Zoom, and we can talk about such things and stay in touch and support each other, and I think that kind of emotional support. And I'm sure there's a lot more phone calls, people checking on people, and I know that's going on, and you hear stories of that going on. So I think there's a community spirit. I really believe in community spirit. Back in 2008, when Money Magazine, voted Chaska to be one of the best small towns, I don't know, under 50,000 or something in America. And, they came out and did an interview, Marshall. And they have a bunch of categories, economic development and housing, and, a lot of different categories, and jobs, and a number of things. And they rate you on how you're doing with all of that. And then at the end, it got down to this discussion of community, your sense of community and your community spirit. And she was just saying that there were a number of us that were, she had maybe talked to or whatever. And I think there was an invitation from somebody or some people that we'll take you around and we'll show you that examples of that community spirit. And she said, no, I don't need you to take me around. She said, I'll go out myself and I'll walk up and down your streets and I'll go places and I'll know if it exists. I'll feel it, I'll find it, and I'll know that it exists. And so, we talking about the stories we see, when you go out and about and you see these things going on. I mean, Chaska does have a community spirit. I think it can be built even stronger. So the churches, the faith community, another example, how they've live streaming, through Facebook and or taping their messages, or standing outside their churches and handing out palms on Palm Sunday or the Saturday before that, just staying in touch and providing that emotional support for it. That's so important. You watch and see the creative and how they're rallying to do their part. And, that's so much of what a community is. And so, yeah, it's a motivating, challenging time, but a kind of an inspiring time at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely pride ourselves on, that's the mission of Chaska, to be the best small town in Minnesota. And
absolutely.
I think, you've been a big part of shaping that. And so I just really want to thank you for taking the time today to chat with me, and just really appreciate the leadership you've provided here in Chaska, and the sense of servitude you've brought, just with your involvement in a variety of organizations. And I think we can maybe even say that your middle name is Community. You're known for saying community a lot, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're talking about is what defines community. Excuse me, it's all about people, and people coming together, supporting each other, caring about each other. And, that's what good communities do. Everyone's valued and respected, young or old, rich or poor, you're best and brightest, your most challenged. It doesn't make any difference. They're all part of your community. And this is a little bit of mutual admiration, but I appreciate the kind words, but you know, you guys are meeting and helping Chaska get through this as a community and as a city, and you're working to build community at this time and capturing the stories and building the stories yourself and encouraging them, and providing some leadership to doing that. And really appreciate that also, because we all need to be working together to make that happen. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And yeah, and we're gonna continue to try to share some of these stories. There's a lot of great individuals out there doing good things, and so the goal is to try to feature somebody on a weekly basis here. And so if there's people out there that have ideas or suggestions for me to visit with, you can send those to our email at chaskacares@chaskamn.com. And then I know a lot of you are posting things on social media as you're seeing great things. So just encourage you to continue to utilize the hashtag Chaska Cares within your posts. Again, just to keep building the momentum and building the community spirit behind this initiative.
Absolutely.
Once again, thanks, Bob.
Thanks for doing the shows. Good.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.
You might have a future after the Park and Rec director's job. You never know, right?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
All right. See you. See you, Bob.
You have a good day too. Thanks a lot.
Bye.